Hello everyone, Mrs. Bradshaw here. Today we are going to be working on fractions. So our learning goal is I can identify and model the parts of a fraction. So label the parts of a fraction. So we have denominator, numerator, and fraction bar, which we can read as divided by. Remember from our previous lessons that the fraction bar is that part right in the middle. So instead of reading this as just 2/6, we could also read this as 2 divided by 6. So I'm going to move that there. The next two words, we have denominator and numerator. Whenever we use these words, when we use the word denominator, that refers to the bottom number. Denominator means the bottom number of a fraction. Numerator means the top number of the fraction. So, how can I model the fraction? Upload a picture or create a digital drawing. So if I wanted to upload a picture of me modeling this, what I would do is I would get my piece of paper, I would draw my drawing, so I'm going to draw it real quick. Then what I would do is I would hit the insert button, and then I would hit the insert button, image, and I can either upload from my computer, or if you have a Chromebook or a computer with a camera, I can hit camera. I can put it up there like this, making sure it's well lit, and I can snap a picture, and I insert that picture. So there is my drawing of it. Or what I can do is I can make a digital drawing, which is what we'll do next. But just so I can work it out with you guys, I'm just going to make this smaller, put it over to the side, and I'm going to work this with you. So I'm going to draw one hole. I'm going to use my denominator to tell me how many parts I'm breaking it into. So 6 parts. Then I'm going to shade 2 of those. So 1/6. 2/6, and I'm just going to label those. There's a 6 and there's a 6. Let's look at the next problem. So how can I model this? Upload a picture or create a digital drawing. So I can do it on my piece of paper. I can go to insert, I can go image, I can go camera, take a picture, and then hit insert. Or I can create a digital drawing. On this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to insert, I'm going to hit table. I'm going to look at my denominator. My denominator is 6. So I'm going to just scroll over to where it says it's a 6 by 1, and that is my whole. And I'm going to shade 4 of those parts. So I highlighted it, and then I'm going to choose whatever color I want. So my 4/6 are shaded. And then to label it, I'm using the text box. And then I'm just going to say, there's a 6, and if I want, instead of rewriting it, I can highlight the text box, and then I'm going to Control-C, Control-V. That's Control-C copies, Control-V pastes, and then I'm just going to take it, and I'm just going to move it to where it labels it for me. So on this one, how can I model the fraction? Upload a picture or create a digital drawing. I'm going to create a digital drawing again. So my denominator in this is 4, so I'm going to insert, then I'm going to go to table, I'm going to go over to where it says 4 by 1, and here it is, and my numerator is 3, so I need 3 of these shaded, so I highlighted it, then I'm going to go and choose a color. I now have 3/4 shaded, grab my text box, and I'm going to go 1/3, grab the box, Control-C copies, Control-V pastes. And if you don't want to copy and paste, you can always grab a text box and do the same thing where you type in it. All right, what type of fraction is shown? How do you know? So on this one, we have 3/4. On this one, we have 4/3. So we have more than one whole in here. So what is it called when a fraction is bigger on top than it is on bottom? This is called an irregular fraction. An irregular fraction means that the numerator is bigger than the denominator. So on this one, we now have a numerator that's smaller than the denominator, but we have two wholes out in front. So this is called a mixed number. It is called a mixed number because we have a whole number and a fraction together. So how can I model the fraction? Upload a picture or create a digital drawing. I'm going to create a digital drawing. So I need it to be in thirds. So I'm going to insert, table, thirds. So here is 1/3 or 1 whole. I'm just going to put it below. I'm going to Control C and Control V and copy that. Here is another whole and Control C, Control V. There is my third. So the reason why I have 3 is because I have 2 holes. So I'm going to highlight these and change the color. So 1, 2, and then I have 2/3 shaded for my next one. So 1 hole, 2 hole, and then 2/3. So if I wanted, I could just label this as 1. Then I could label this as 1, or I could even label this as 3/3, because 3/3 means the same thing as 1 whole. So I'm going to copy that and paste it. And then I'm going to label these down here. So I have 1/3, and I'm going to Control C, Control V, and I'm going to label that one 1/3. So I have 2 and 2/3 modeled. All right, how can I model this? How many holes am I going to need for this? Well, I have 1 hole out in front, and then I have a part of a hole. So I'm going to need 2. My denominator is 4, so I'm going to need it to be broken into fourths. So there's 1 hole, and here's my next one. So I'm going to highlight this full one, then I'm going to highlight 1/4 of that one. So I can write this as 4/4, and then I can write this as 1/4. So I have 1 and 1/4 modeled. All right, turn this improper fraction into a mixed number. So what I have to do is I have to pull out 1 whole from that. So I know that to show 1 whole, it would be 3/3. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull 3 out from there, and then I am left with 1/3, because 3/3 plus 1/3 equals 4/3. So I have 1 whole, which I can write like this, plus 1/3. So 1 and 1/3. All right, let's look at this one. How would I model 1 whole for this? Well, the denominator is 4, so 4/4 would equal a whole. So I'm going to take 4/4 away from that. So 7, and I'm taking 4 out from there, would leave me with 3/4. So I'm just taking away from the top. 3/4 is a regular fraction, so I'm going to say I have 1 whole and 3/4. So 1 and 3/4. All right, let's try this one. So I have now a mixed number that I want to figure out how to turn into an improper fraction. So you can do this in a couple of ways. I can say I have 2 wholes, so that would be 3/3 and 3/3 plus my 2/3. And for that, I would be adding all of them. So 3 plus 3 plus 2 would be 8/3. And I can do it that way. And when you add, you only do the numerators. Or a way that I normally teach my class is I say we're going to use the C method. So I start here at the bottom and I make a dot and I draw up to the top. And I say 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2 is 8, and the bottom stays the same. So 8/3. So let's try that on the next one. So I have 1 and 1/4. So using the C method, I'm starting at the bottom. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So 5, and the bottom stays the same. Or another way that I could have done it is I can say I have 1 whole, so 4/4 plus 1/4 equals 5/4. Both ways gives you the same answer.